Now, on the issue of U.S. tariffs and how does it affect the country, obviously, as I mentioned, trade policy uncertainty is one of the issues that we have discussed quite extensively with the authorities on what does that mean for Sri Lanka's economy and economic performance. We know that obviously the authorities are committed to achieving program objectives and to see how are the targets being met. They have also committed to addressing any sort of underperformance or deviation from program targets with remedial measures. So we think that we take this commitment very seriously, and we know their strong impetus for delivering on those. Obviously, the global trade policy uncertainties, as I mentioned, is a significant risk. All I can say at this point is that if these risks materialize, we will work with the authorities to assess the impact of those shocks, and we will support the country in formulating specific policy responses within the contours of the existing IMF program. We have very frequent discussions with the authorities. We were talking to them as recently as last Friday, as just a few days ago. We continue talking to them on a daily basis. Marta talks to them on a constant basis, and we continue conducting weekly monitoring meetings with the entire team, both here and in Colombo as well, so that we can ensure that program performance remains on track. This is all I can say for the moment, but it's very important to note also that the Sri Lankan authorities, Sri Lankan government, has made great progress in establishing greater connection with bilateral trade partners, including the United States, and we encourage more action and greater discussion in ensuring that there is a good outcome from these discussions, and that the trade policy uncertainty gets resolved and there's greater certainty. So first of all, every review, now we're on the fourth review, but every review of the program is an opportunity to assess the economic developments, to review program targets, and to determine the reform agenda and the reform measures that the authorities plan for the period ahead. It just happened that in this review we have a significant trade policy shock. So in these discussions, we've had an understanding of what are the concerns and what is the kind of shock. And by the way, this is something that we also as fund staff are trying to implement, to understand and to comprehend and to put into our outlook. So obviously the 40% tariff on Sri Lanka that was announced on April 2nd would have a significant impact, and the authorities understand this very well. The impact obviously will be on the apparel and rubber industries. Obviously, as you know very well, these account for a very large share of the country's exports to the United States. I believe it's almost 3/4 or over 70%. And also the real sector implications of these are very important, because these two sectors, apparel and rubber, employ a lot of workers in Sri Lanka. Just the apparel industry alone is over 300,000 workers, or 320,000 workers. So the 90-day pause that was announced has allowed the authorities to engage constructively with the United States, and we take very positive note on this. Now, within, obviously, in general, as I mentioned, the global trade policy uncertainty for any small open economy, and definitely for Sri Lanka, poses significant downside risks. For these discussions, we understand that obviously the issues that arise and how they should be baked into the program. If there is any substantial risk that may pan out either on the back of tariffs or some other disruption, we will work with the authorities to incorporate them, to assess their impact and put them into policy responses. At this point, it will be a little premature of me to talk about specific issues. But we've had a lot of discussions, and we think that the authorities are doing the best they can to address these issues. It's important to also mention that anytime is a good time for implementing more reforms, for discussing greater options towards having more trade policy responses. And we believe that Sri Lanka should continue exploring also additional ways in making its exports more marketable and appealing to a wider range of counterparts.